to the Logiqlab YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing the part 1 of our HTML interview series, where we will be discussing HTML interview questions for freshers as well as for experienced candidates. So, what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is the standard markup language used for structuring and presenting content on the World Wide Web, also known as WWW. HTML are saved by adding .htm or .html in web page name. HTML is the skeleton or basic structure of any web page. The current version that is most widely used is HTML5. Between HTML elements and tags. Elements. An element is an individual component of the HTML web page or document. It represents semantic or meaning, whereas tags are the root of the HTML document, which is used to specify that the document is HTML. For example, in elements, the title element represents the title of the document, whereas in tag, for example, the head tag is used to contain all the head element in the HTML file. The difference between a block level element and an inline element. A block level element always starts on a new line, whereas an inline element does not start on a new line. A block level element always takes up the full width available, whereas an inline element only takes up as much width as necessary. A block level element has a top and a bottom margin, whereas an inline level element does not have top and bottom margin. The div element is a block level element, whereas the span element is an inline level element. Some block level elements are address, canvas, block quote, div, DL, DT, OL, nav, UL, table, section, P, pre, HR, headings from H1 to H6, main, li, etc. Whereas some inline level elements are A, which is also known as anchor tag, strong, small, abbreviation, img, m, script, select, time, button, br, etc. HTML attributes. Attributes can be defined as additional characteristics or property, such that HTML attributes are also used to provide additional information about the elements. All HTML elements can have attributes. Attributes are always specified in the start tag. Some of the attributes are the href attribute, where the A tag defines a hyperlink. The href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. You can see the example here. Now, the src attribute, the img tag, is used to embed an image in an HTML page. The src attribute specifies the path to the image to be displayed, as you can see in the given example below. HTML headings. HTML headings are basically title and subtitle that you want to display on your web pages. There are 6 headings from H1 to the H6, where H1 is the largest one and H6 is the smallest one. Why headings are very important? Search engine uses headings to index the structure and content of your web page. It is the most important aspect in terms of search engine optimization, i.e. SEO. Can we add styles to the HTML elements without using CSS? Yes, we can add styles to the HTML element using different styling attributes. The HTML style attribute is used to add styles to an element such as font, color, size, and many more. Here you can see the syntax where there is some tag name. We can add some style and its property. We can assign some value so that we can add a style to our HTML element without using any external CSS. Where property is the CSS property, value is the CSS value. Here you can see the example. Let us understand that what is HTML5. So, HTML5 is a markup language which is used for structuring and presenting content on the World Wide Web. It is the fifth and last major HTML version that is a World Wide Web Consortium recommendation. The main virtues of HTML5 over its predecessor, that is HTML4, is that you can add multimedia content without using Flash or another media player. What is the difference between HTML and HTML5? In terms of definition, HTML, a hypertext markup language, is the primary language used for developing web pages, whereas HTML5 is a new version of HTML with new functionalities with markup language with internet technologies. In terms of multimedia support, HTML does not have support for video and audio, whereas HTML5 supports both video and audio. In terms of storage, the HTML browser uses cache memory as temporary storage, whereas in HTML5 has the storage options like application cache, SQL database, and web storage. In terms of browser compatibility, HTML is compatible with almost all browsers because it has been present for a long time and the browser made modification to support all the features. In HTML5, we have many new tags, elements, and some tags that have been removed, modified. So, only some browsers are fully compatible with HTML5. In terms of graphic storage, in HTML, vector graphics are possible with tools like Silverlight, Adobe Flash, VML, etc. Whereas in HTML5, vector graphics are supported by default. In terms of storage, HTML uses cookies to store data, whereas in HTML5 uses local storage instead of cookies. Doc type. The doc type declaration in HTML is too long, as you can see. The doc type declaration in HTML5 is very simple. In terms of character encoding, the character encoding in HTML is too long, whereas the character encoding declaration in HTML5 is very simple. In terms of browser support, HTML works with all older browsers, whereas HTML5 works with new browsers. What is DOM in HTML? When a web page is loaded, the browser creates a document object model of the page. The HTML DOM is an object model for HTML, where HTML elements are treated as an object. The HTML DOM model is constructed as a tree of objects. Here we can see the pictorial representation of the HTML DOM tree of objects, where we can have document. Inside the document, we have some root element, also known as parent element, which is HTML here. The HTML have two childs, which is head element and body element. Inside head element also have its child known as title element. Then title element have its own child which is text. In body element have its two childs which is anchor tag and h1, where anchor and h1 are siblings. Now anchor tag has two childs which is text and attribute href, whereas element h1 have its child which is text header. And that's how things work in HTML DOM tree of objects, following parent and child relationship in the form of tree. Layout of HTML. HTML layout specifies a way in which the web page is arranged. Every website has a specific layout to display content in a specific manner. Following are the different HTML elements which are used to define the different parts of the web page. Here we can see that first of all we have to do doc type declaration. Inside that we have to use HTML element which is the root element of our DOM model. Inside HTML we have child which is head. Head has its own child which is meta, title, link, etc. Then we can close the head element. After that we have body element. Inside body element we have our complete web page content. Then after completing our web page content we can simply close the body element. Then we have to close the HTML element too. Let us see the structure inside the body of HTML document. First of all, header. Header is used to define a header for a document or a particular section. Navs. This defines a container for navigation links. Section. It is used to define a section in a document. Article. This is used to define an independent, self-contained article. Aside, it is used to define content aside from the content. Footer, it is used to define a footer for a document or a section. What is the doc type in HTML? All HTML document must start with doc type declaration. The declaration is not an HTML tag. It is an information to the browser about what document type to expect. Here we can see the syntax, that is doc type HTML. What is the use of an iframe tag? An iframe is simply used to display a web page within a web page, or we can say that it is used to create a nested web page. As you can see the syntax below. Now, how do you create text on a web page that allows you to send an email when clicked? So we can simply write mail to command within the href tag. You can write it in the following way as mentioned in the example below. Now that's it for today's session. We hope this session was very informative to you all. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any sort of feedback, make sure to write it down on the comment section below. And do let us know. We will be more happy to help you out there. On that contrary note, I hope you all are keeping safe. See you on the next one. Till then, keep learning and keep earning.